Next on the remote is this button up here. There's two buttons up here. This one up here switches mode. Alright, so there's time and date and so forth, and gives you the battery. This one right here switches back to live view or off. There's live view. This one here goes into menu mode. And so you don't really need it unless you change or do something with the cameras. I'm going to go ahead and power this off. Now, powering off the cameras is a little bit more tricky and not quite as easy. You'll see right here there's a lock button up top and a set button here and two buttons here. Alright, so what you want to do is you hit the button here, photo, go to setup, you hit this top button here, setup. Alright, go back button, config, reset, let me see, config, hit the back button again. There's where you format your discs if you put in a new disc, and then you just hit, when you want to do it, you just hit the format button. Okay, you got to hit it again. It's asking you okay, hit it again, are you sure, hit it again, and then it goes into the format. That's what this button up here, the record button. And depending on the size of the disc, depends on how long it takes. In normal, it's just a few seconds. When it's done, you can hit the back button and so forth. You can go movie, photo, or whatever. If you're in movie, you hit back, and that's power off. Power off, you hit that button there, and you are off. I normally turn this off. Alright, you have to make sure that this position up here matches the position of the switch on the back of the camera. And that's not a real tricky thing, but it is a definite thing. So once again, you have the camera. Alright, if it is unlocked, this will turn it on, or this button, if it is locked, will turn it on. Either will turn it on. That gives you your battery power, and it gives you your recording. If you turn it on with the record, it automatically starts recording, just so you know. That's why the red lights were on. Alright, so I want to erase it, so I hit back, there's power off, back is power off from movie. But I want to format, so I back, setup, select, that's the top button up here, back, config, back, format. Yes, okay, yes, and it's formatting. That way you get blank discs when you get there. Alright, you see the red lights on and so forth. It is formatting. You're good to go. And I just noticed something, and I'll show you in a second. So I'm back at movie, back, power off, select. It is now powered off. I can turn this down to the lock position and go from there. Now this case here is good to 33 feet. 33 feet. You have a door in here. It is right here. That is good to 197 feet. I'm just going to put it here. I'm not going to put it on for you and so forth. You can do that yourself. Now, the tricky thing is how to put it on. And how to put it on is actually quite simple. Down here, you have a button. You pull this back. You lift that up, slide forward, that comes off. So you can see there. Now if you look really close here, really close, you'll see that right there is a little thing. You twist this with this piece here in your hand, you twist this and that comes off that latch. You can slide the dive door on there. Do not rip it off, do not cut it off. This helps so you don't lose the door. And that's a very important part of this camera, so be very careful. When you take the camera out, it literally just slides in and out. And back here you have a lock unlock. That is locked, that is unlocked. You lift that up, there's your memory card there, there's your battery here. to release the battery. You push that down, and you notice the arrows are facing toward the back of the camera. Not the front of the camera, the back of the camera. And those little electrode things, they're on the bottom. So, down and out, in. If you want your memory card out, you can push that up, and just like the other one, to push down and make sure it's locked in, and you go there. You want this sealed, be sealed good, and you push that back and lock. Now, the other interesting thing with these is, in snorkeling mode, in rain mode, this mode right here, you can actually carefully pull this door off and get to the HDMI mini port and to the USB mini port. Frankly, I don't recommend that unless you're just out of power and need extra power, but that's how you do it. There's the switch I said you want to get in the habit of positioning, and I usually turn it off because that's where I usually leave the cases. Putting it back in the case is really simple. You just slide it in, slide it all the way in, push that in first, like so, up here, right there, slide that in. When it's down here, slide that forward and down. Boom, done deal. Right there's your lanyard holes. You can put a lanyard or a fishing line or something that's really sturdy here. This is your tripod connector for an external tripod, or your GoPro converted mounts, the things that you were waiting for. And that's it. It's ready to rock and roll. If you want to attach it onto something that's pretty secure, this will work. And just tighten that on, get it good and snug, and now you can try one of these numbers here and so forth. The downside with that is, if you notice, this is kind of chintzy and it moves easily. So if you're on anything that bounces up and down, it sucks. But if you're on like a tree limb, camping, or a fishing pole that's not moving, a stake that's not moving, a fence post that's not moving, this is a really cool little mount. But it really is pushing it a bit. There's also a quick release on it. It's the button right here in the back. And you just push that button, and it slides right out. So you can leave that mount on. If you so choose, that allows you to tighten it a bit more and better, but honestly it doesn't do a darn thing to the camera. And you just push this back in, you lose this, you're pretty well screwed up the mount. No way to mount it without this mounting bracket. So I personally try to leave them together and such, make sure it's locked in. But anyway, this is in here. I have one of these, and I've hung cameras from window blind things up there and so forth, and it's done me good. Here's an extra card adapter. Each one of these cases here have a little mini USB in it. Here's your headset. I've already put an adapter on it to get it out. You can just unscrew it here. You already know how to use GoPro crap, so I'm not going to explain that. You got extra batteries. There's battery in each of the cameras, and you got 3 batteries, and you got a USB 3 charger for each camera. This thing here is a mouthpiece that goes to a you can put your GoPro mount on there. I would say you want to put it to where it's upside down in your mouth and hanging down below your chin or up. Otherwise it's going to be in your eyesight. So it's kind of cool, but there. This here is a lanyard strap. You can hook it onto the lanyard thing. I did not do that. You can get a ring or something to put it on, but it's just an extra float with a safety strap and so forth that can be detached and such. I would not trust it solely and strictly, but it is what it is. It's there. You got some mounts and some straps. Here is a little selfie stick. If you want it, it's telescoping. You hook the camera on. It's pretty good. You can, move it around. It'll work good for the thing and so forth. You just, screw your camera onto it and you're good to go. Let me see. I don't know what else to tell you about all this other than the stuff should last a very long time with reasonable care, which I already know you're great at. This here is like for a bicycle to hook or some type of a little tube. If you have some tubing that you can hook this onto more permanently, it expands out quite a ways. But the cool part is you can have a permanent GoPro mount or more permanent, which you can use your Action Cam on. There's 2 of these and so forth. They're a little bit different, but I went ahead and included both of them. This thing here is $150. Don't lose it, and don't abuse it. It should do you great and work well. I'm going to put it upside down just so there's no smush or squish or anything else. This here is a hand float. Obviously, if you don't want to do it and you want to be able to move around and point where you want and so forth, this thing here is better. I honestly don't know. I didn't test it to see if it'll hold up that camera or not, but I know it's like a little brick sinking to the bottom if you don't have something. So between this and one of these, you should be pretty safe and secure skin diving with this camera. That's your kit. I'm going to get it shipped off to you today, and I love you, and I hope you're doing great.